Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. Likes, comments, and subscriptions are always very much appreciated. Welcome back to another News I Missed, where I go over news I missed. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. The founder of messaging app Telegram has announced the development of a new decentralized exchange platform and cryptocurrency wallet. In a new post on his channel, Telegram founder and CEO Pavel Durov says that blockchain developers should go back to the roots of crypto. Yeah, that would be great. And focus on decentralization, as centralized entities tend to abuse their power. For those of you who were not here years ago, I'm certain it was them. Telegram and was it WhatsApp? I don't remember. It was Telegram and another messaging app system announced that they were going to be creating their own cryptocurrencies. They said actual cryptocurrencies and not simply digital coins. And they were also going to be creating their own blockchains. Can you guess who had a very difficult time with this? Yeah, it was the SEC. They didn't care for it. And I believe it was Telegram and one other app. I can't remember the name of them. They both were sued by the SEC, and I think the lawsuits took multiple, I think 3 or 4 years or something like that, and they were finally resolved. So I found it quite interesting that Telegram would even think of trying to announce something like this once again. I believe what they tried to create before was called the TON network. T-O-N network, I think that's what it was. The idea of a decentralized exchange is something that's very particular and also very powerful. The idea of decentralized exchanges years ago kind of infiltrated the minds of all the early cryptocurrency people as a way that people would be able to transact in crypto or trade in crypto. In uncertain words, more so, no one would be able to tell it is decentralized. You cannot and would not, in any actual decentralized way, be able to stop the transactions that are happening. This is why, as we see a whole bunch of the decentralized exchanges and decentralized platforms falling apart this year, they're clearly not actually decentralized. Decentralized in the way that it needs to be, I do not think can currently happen simply because of regulators. I'd find it or would find it very interesting if a company like Telegram, who falls under some sort of regulatory category, would actually be able to create a proper decentralized exchange that no one in particular would have control over. Because if it's simply Telegram's offices in the US and Canada and Spain and France and Mexico and South Africa and in Japan, if they're all running a node, that's not really decentralized because it's actually still the company running it. But if everyday normal people, like if on your app on your phone, you could run a Telegram node, that changes the game entirely, but we'll see where that actually ends up going. They said the blockchain industry was built on the promise of decentralization, but ended up being concentrated in the hands of a few who began to abuse their power. As a result, a lot of people lost their money. Oh, okay, now, okay. I see where they're going, and it's not going to work. They said as a result, a lot of people lost their money when FTX, one of the largest exchanges, went bankrupt. FTX losing money or shutting down or not working or Sam Bankman-Fried being a scam artist has nothing to do with actual decentralization. It's simply because we know that cryptocurrency exchanges as they are centralized. We know that Coinbase is centralized. We know that Binance is centralized. We went over that, I believe it was the end of last year. Another fiasco, another scary moment. Everyone completely lost their minds and were complaining about they thought the space was more decentralized. And I had a talk with all of you and I said, these are companies. Facebook has gone public. They are hyper centralized. The idea of you holding your coins with them is the opposite of decentralization. So when things like that happen, when money goes missing or when scams are afoot, it is because they are centralized. So trying to use the idea that FTX went bust and therefore decentralization is now the only way, well, get in line. We've been trying to do that for the last 10 or so years when it comes to decentralized exchanges, and nearly none of them have worked. I remember earlier this year when there were, I think 2 of them had begun to fail, or there was something about, it was some sort of nonsense going on. And I told everyone, I said, they have physical locations. These are not like the actual promised decentralized exchanges. They are simply companies who are using keywords to try and get people to join their platform. So I don't think Telegram has been around longer than FTX and is far more regulated in many different ways. They may use their own systems, but I'm certain if Telegram creates a decentralized exchange where people are swapping 15 million, an individual person sends $15 million to someone else and the government doesn't know about it, you'd better believe it is getting shut down the very next day. They said the solution is clear. Blockchain-based projects should go back to their roots. Decentralization, which almost no one cares about anymore. People just care about how much money they can make. They say cryptocurrency users should switch to trustless transactions and self-hosted wallets that don't rely on any single third party. I agree with all of that, but is it going to happen? Probably not, especially as we see big money entering the space. As people keep allowing themselves to get scammed by these companies and all these other terribly fake, horrible cryptocurrencies, regulators will continue to pour in. And then we're going to have all the big money coming in. And I give it no more than 5 years. I mean, 10 years is a definite, but 5 years is like, okay, maybe. Where people are basically going to be using JP Morgan and Fidelity and BlackRock to actually buy their crypto. I think the original crypto exchanges will also be there, but get ready for some type of weird regulatory pushback kind of thing against the normal exchanges that we have right now, because the big industry players, the companies who are worth $9 trillion, don't want Binance and Coinbase having a slice of the pie. So this was very popular news. I wish them the best of luck. I have zero faith that they are going to be able to create an actual, properly decentralized, no one has control over. There's a difference between having control over and or fixing and updating the code. One updates the code to make sure that the website doesn't break. And the other side is making sure that there's not just 15 people who are controlling the movement or anything of the coins, or who can and cannot take their coins off. Because a lot of decentralized exchanges, if you haven't been paying attention, have blocked people from taking their money out because they're not actually decentralized. That's the Telegram is planning to launch their own crypto exchange and non-custodial wallets. Good luck with that. All right. Let's move on. Also in popular, weird. So for some reason, no, I don't know. No. I honestly don't know. People have a weird fascination with a couple of things in the cryptocurrency space. One is recently Sam Bankman-Fried, where everyone and their mother is so concerned about what shoes he's wearing or how long his hair is getting. The obsession's very odd, just to let you all know that. The other one is Muskrat, Elon Muskrat. For some reason, that's also a really big thing and then the third one seems to be Zuckerberg. I think a large part of it has to be with people wanting to make fun of him or simply stating how odd that he is. But anytime that Meta or Facebook or Instagram or Zuckerberg says or does anything, it floods into the cryptocurrency space. Meta CEO Zuckerberg is still hopeful about the company's metaverse plans, regardless of the billions of dollars it's sucking up from the company, claiming someone has to build that. Apparently, appearing remotely for an interview at the 30th of November Deal Book Summit in New York, Zuckerberg was asked his thoughts on whether the tech giant's metaverse plans was still viable given its cost and the doubts cast over the platform. Answering, I think things look very different on a 10-year time horizon than the zone we're in for the next few years. I'm still completely optimistic about all the things that we've been optimistic about. The article kind of just goes on, more not making fun of him, but more or less like a really weird, they're wasting tons of money. The metaverse is not going to happen. The metaverse is this, and when this is happening, and blah, 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 blah. I saw something else a couple of days ago as well where someone was discussing that they think that the metaverse is going to happen, but it won't be in the vision of Mark Zuckerberg, and it's going to be something more decentralized and open and happy and free. And I'm like, look at the world that we live in. What tells you that we are going to, in a couple of years, not only have a metaverse, but they're going to be open, free, and happy and for everyone? This is why governments are like rapidly rushing in. We saw the news a couple of weeks ago. There are multiple governments who are making their own metaverse police stations. It just doesn't. So, regardless of their business practices, people still use Facebook. People still use Twitter. It's a dumpster fire, but people still use it. When Facebook launches something, especially that is monetarily advantageous to other people on their platform, i.e., I told you all this before a couple of years ago. If Facebook ever makes a metaverse, and in that metaverse they have Facebook coin, let's imagine it's called Facebook coin, and they have their own marketplace where you can buy this and buy that. You can buy the digital version, and then you have the physical version shipped to your actual home, which would then give Facebook your address, and people would still sign up for it. Why? Because imagine if they said every time you buy a t-shirt or hat or scarf or shoes or whatever you're looking to buy or Christmas gifts, and you use Facebook coin, you get a good 25% off. Imagine if for Black Friday it was 50% off. You are incentivized to use this coin. Eventually it becomes a part of your daily economy, and then it ends up taking off. Why would I want to pay full price when I can go to Amazon? Why would I want to pay Amazon's prices when I could simply go to Facebook? It's just a matter of money. It's always the exact same thing. So the metaverses will happen. I am more optimistic that they will be a lot more than just the original four we were, promoted or given in the very beginning. But yeah, sure. So this has nothing, like literally nothing to do with crypto, but this was also quite popular news. I think it's just because it's Zuckerberg. So people like to fascinate themselves about his being or what he does or how weird he is or how awkward he sounds or what he did that day or what, I don't know. Until they really announce, hey, we're making our own crypto, or we're making our own digital coin, or we're going to be integrating Bitcoin, Ethereum, yada, yada as a payment option. It's not really crypto news, but neither is half the other stuff that people fall in love with very weird news in this space. So I think it just kind of is what it is. That's the Zuckerberg news. Wonderful. All right. Let's move on. Here's a really good one. After Portugal, another European country is set to toughen crypto regulations and further expand taxation on cryptocurrency trading. A provision in Italy's 2023 budget seeks to levy a 26% tax on capital gains derived from cryptocurrency trading. I understand why governments are doing this. I understand that they're looking for a way to, is the word de-incentivize or disincentivize? Doesn't really matter. They're trying to make sure that people don't get into the market, or if they do, and the cryptocurrency space continues to grow, that the government will also be able to monetarily benefit from it at the exact same time. I always find it a little weird when the countries that aren't already doing well economically have not thought a little bit further as to the ramifications of them creating something like this. I.e., years ago, Portugal announced that it was tax-free to deal in crypto in their country. I forgot what the normal laws are. I think in Portugal, it's if you are making money from a foreign entity, for the first 10 years of you living there, you are tax-free. You can look it up. They have a and I dare not, it's not even progressive. It's like, wow, that's crazy. 10 years tax-free if you are making money from a foreign entity within their country. And then they also had the same exact thing for the cryptocurrency space as well. I think cryptocurrency day trading was taxed, but if you just simply had crypto and you sold it on like a one-time basis, that was also tax-free. But the amount of people who are now leaving Portugal, I believe they're moving to Germany, and there's another country that has like actual 0% taxes, is the same exact thing that's going to happen to Italy. We often do not hear about Italy as like, a cryptocurrency haven in general. But the idea of a 26% tax is incredibly stupid. If you made it 10%, people would go, well, it's not as low as 0, but Italy's beautiful. They have very cheap real estate if you haven't looked there before. Let's do it. 5% is a huge incentive for companies to begin working there. If we are making X amount of money and our taxes are 5% over the course of the year, the country's getting a massive amount of money. Same exact thing for normal cryptocurrency transactions. And I mean as like a capital gains tax, not even on like an every transaction happening tax. So I think countries don't want to make money. I'll give you the actual answer. There's so much constant mismanagement of money from countries and governments who don't know how to actually build proper infrastructure for their country to become monetarily, economically prosperous. And this is what we're seeing on the screen. If you've ever watched the documentary about Italy, Greece, and Spain and how bad their economies are, how high unemployment rates are, and how their infrastructure is like crumbling, I would implore you to do so. It's very fascinating. There was a documentary years ago when Brexit happened. Greece, Spain, and Italy, there were rumblings of them. The most popular one being the Grexit, where people were talking about that Greece was thinking about leaving the European Union. And when you looked at why, it was just absolute nonsense. They were talking about we need more control over our money and we need more control over this and blah, blah, blah. But when you looked at why the country was so devastatingly broke in the first place, it's because their taxation laws were almost non-existent. They weren't taxing anyone, and anything that was taxed wasn't actually going to public infrastructure or to hospitals or to schools. And they had a certain thing that if you lived on certain islands within Greece, you also had a 0% tax rate. So many people were flocking to these islands. And it's like, well, of course your country's doing bad because you have no money coming in. So anyway, it says, however, this tax slab will be applicable if the crypto profits are larger than 2,000 euros, roughly around $2,062. Italy's tax authorities have been seeing cryptocurrencies and tokens as foreign currencies. I think this is the only silver lining. And even more so, think about it this way. I saw an interview, and I've seen thousands of these things at this point, where people are talking about how they made big money in crypto, what they had to do, and this is not financial advice, discussing how they were able to make money from day trading and all these other kinds of things. And there was one, the most interesting one was where people were talking about how they had accumulated enough money from crypto and began to day trade, and they were making roughly $10,000 to $15,000 per day, per trade, going back and forth, like, selling and then buying, like the one-way successful trade, making around $15,000 per trade. The other one was this was years ago. It was 7, 8, 9 years ago. There was a guy in London. He was from Brixton, and I forgot how he said he got into it. He started making tons of money somehow. He was 19 or 20 like that. And he said when he would day trade once, he did it once a day. And I think he was making like 20, 30,000 pounds from that thing. It was very, very interesting documentary. He said he only did it once per day. He didn't want to get wrapped up into it. He knew that making, 300,000 per month, he would be fine for the rest of his life. So even if you think of the idea of 2,000 euros and then above that gets taxed, I wonder if that means like for every trade that happens, i.e., if I'm day trading and I manage to keep my profits lower than 2,000 euros for that actual transaction, let's say it's 1,500, and I replicate that multiple times, since they're all under 2,000 euros, does that then mean that day of trading, because everything fell below the threshold, is then tax-free? Because that's another interesting or clever way to show that during a transaction I made less than 2,000. However, I made 10 of them, and therefore I made 15,000 in one day. Maybe I'm thinking too much into that, but that seems like what it would be. So cool. I don't think this is going to work. I think it's going to get passed, but people will especially within Europe, they'll just go to. Isn't Germany right above Italy? They'll just go to Germany, which has 0% taxes on crypto. That's good luck, Italy news. Right. Moving along. Also in the news, OpenSea is going to be adding Binance Chain onto its Web3 marketplace soon, known as Seaport, which will enable multiple real-time creator payouts, improved collection management, and the avoidance of high gas by creators, all while reducing the cost of setup for new users. It says the lack of availability of Binance Smart Chain's NFTs on more popular exchanges has been a problem for end customers who had previously only been able to see them on Binance NFTs marketplace. Yeah, but that's their fault. Part of the problem is that it was only OpenSea and Rarible that allowed anyone to use their platform. It was the Gemini Twins platform, it was Coinbase NFTs and Binance NFTs and Super Rare as well, that were only allowing like big name artists. Of course, if you're not a big name artist, you're not going to use that platform. So tons of people just were not going there, and that's currently where they are. So I assume OpenSea is incorporating or adding Binance Chain for minting, because they probably had some discussions with Binance who's like, hey, our platform isn't working. No one's actually using it. So cool. Wonderful. This is like the ninth chain that they've added to their platform at this point. Wonderful. Sure, why not? I have nothing else to say. I can't even say that I hope it goes well for them, because like it's Binance. Like if Binance Smart Chain NFTs don't work out, they're still the largest crypto exchange on the planet. So there's not any real fear for them there. All right. Let's move on. Also in not news, this was very popular news, I think, because a lot of people remain hopeful that the garbage that they bought before actually becomes relevant. Huobi and Poloniex have announced a strategic partnership on the 30th of November. Reports of a planned merger of the two cryptocurrency exchanges emerged, there we go, and were denied last week. The two exchanges will progressively cooperate on Huobi's HT coin ecosystem development, connectivity, liquidity sharing, and global compliance. Beginning in December, the Huobi Advisory Board will make a monthly evaluation of all Poloniex projects, with the top performers potentially directly listed on Huobi, the exchange has said. So can anyone tell me why this is not news? It is so simple. It's actually simpler than you're even thinking. Huobi and Poloniex are basically the exact same thing. Can anyone tell me why? Here's a tweet. It says the Poloniex exchange, which Justin Sun acquired from Circle in 2019, will merge with his recently acquired Huobi exchange. That's right. They're both owned by the same person. You can merge them if you want. It doesn't really change anything. It would be news if Binance was merging with Coinbase. Those are two separate entities owned by different people. It's the same guy who runs both companies. He owns both of them. So I almost assume he can choose what happens with both. This was promoted as some type of, I have old articles here just in case you wanted, further clarification. People were trying to make this out like some big actual changing thing that was going to, spice up the crypto space or make things a lot better. I even saw the Huobi token rise on that day. You rose the price because you didn't know what was actually happening. Imagine me owning an orange stand, and then you buy oranges from me, and you work on the other side of town, and you bought a mango. You're like, wow, this mango is delicious. And then one day I set up a sign that I'm merging my orange and mango stands together. And then the prices of my oranges and mangoes go up and everyone's like, whoa, those must be really good. I own both of them. I can merge them if I want. Also, no one's using Poloniex or Huobi. They have very low trading volumes. I told all of you years ago that Tron was a terrible, terrible coin. We talked about this a couple of months ago when Poloniex was one of the very few exchanges who announced that they were going to have support for the Ethereum proof of work token, which I told you was also going to collapse. Yeah, remember that one? Yeah, right. So for those of you who missed it, when Ethereum did their hard fork and they went to proof of stake, a lot of greedy people in the background said that no, Ethereum needs machines because that's decentralization. And I was like, they're only doing it because they're doing it for a cash grab. And then what happened? They cash grabbed and they tried to convince a whole bunch of people that this coin would be worth something. The price went up for a day and then completely collapsed, and no one has heard about it since. So the news is, in yet another dramatic, like, dude, please stop it news. Remember? Oh gosh, don't forget. After Ripple said that they were going to be buying up portions of FTX, Justin Sun also said, wait, we're also going to be buying up portions of FTX. When Changpeng Zhao announced that they were going to try and save some companies in the cryptocurrency industry, Justin Sun was also like, we're also going to be saving. It's the same over and over. I don't understand. Does anyone still have Tron? Did anyone buy Tron in the first place? Remember when I told you it was garbage? It does nothing. You know how I know that? I'm not even a coder. There are tons of people who like actually do coding in the space, and they look into these projects and they go, oh, this doesn't work. We can also see like their trading volume is excessively low, which means like no one's using it. Like not, just to clarify, that's Huobi might be merging with Poloniex, but those are two separate entities. How would that even work out? I hope it works out. Maybe they'll find a conclusion or some sort of way to be harmonious and come together in their work. News. Oh, even the photo has two separate hands shaking hands, as opposed to the same hand because it's his. All right, let's move on. Right. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are. What was that? It was a little like demon face thing. Wherever you are, wherever you might be, I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for liking, commenting, subscribing, and or commenting again. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.